So this is a follow-up on yesterday's video. You can find it on TikTok or YouTube on the Heavens Delight too. Double comment, impending doom on Nineveh. Like the scripture says, an evil, adulterous generation seeks for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except for the sign of Jonah.
Tell you about the upcoming eclipse on April the 8th. You know, God speaks to us through the heavens. The heavens declare, Psalms 19, His glory. Did you know that the solar eclipse crosses the United States and it passes through Nenevah, Texas, Jonah, Texas, Rapture, Indiana, and it's all done under the constellation of Cetus, the whale. Now what does that tell us? Jonah in the Bible is the story of God offering redemption to a city called Nineveh. God is offering redemption to those who will hear His voice today. He's speaking to us right now, saying this is your opportunity for redemption.
So prior to this upcoming eclipse, we had one 7 years ago in 2017. The North America solar eclipse, the 7th Salem eclipse, more like Salem, as in Jerusalem. The number 7 is symbolic, it means fullness, completion, but it also means rest. Genesis tells us that Jah created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and upon completion, Yah rested on the 7th day. So it is completed, and it's time for the house of Israel to rest. The 13th tribe, the one that broke off the tree of life, is the tribe of Dan. Dan means judge. Jah used Dan to place judgment on the house of Israel. That's what they call the judge. So this new eclipse will be hitting all these places named Nineveh. Notice the location of Babylon in Egypt, right? Nimrod was the king of Babylon, a giant, and founder of Freemasonry, and founder of Nineveh. So the tribe of Dan joined the Canaanites. These are emblems for the tribe of Dan. What I like to refer to them as the Eagle Nations. This is from the reading of Micah 5. Mobilize the enemy, lay siege to Jerusalem, because America is a true Holy Land. With a rod they shall strike the judge of Israel on the face. O Bethlehem, Ephrathah, you are but a small Judean village, yet you will be the birthplace of my king, who is alive from the everlasting ages past. Yah will abandon his people to their enemies until the time of Israel's spiritual rebirth. Then at last the exiled remnants of Israel will rejoin their brethren in their own land. And he shall stand and feed his flock in the strength of Adonai, and in the majesty of the name of Adonai his Yah, and his people shall remain there undisturbed. For he will be greatly honored all around the world. He will be our peace, and when the Assyrian invades our land and marches across our hills, he will appoint 7 shepherds to watch over us, 8 princesses to lead us. They will rule Assyria with drawn swords and enter the gates of the land of Nimrod. He will deliver us from the Assyrians when they invade our land. Then the nation of Israel will refresh the world like a gentle dew, or the welcome showers of rain, and Israel will be as strong as a lion. The nations will be like a helpless sheep before her. She will stand up to her foes. All her enemies will be wiped out. At that same time, says Adonai, I will destroy all the weapons you depend on, and tear your walls and demolish the defense of your cities. I will put an end to all witchcraft. There will be no more fortune tellers to consult, and destroy all idols. Never again will you worship what you have made. And I will abolish the heathen shrines from among you, and destroy the cities where all your idols' temples stand. And I will pour out my vengeance upon the nations who refuse to obey me. That's when the book of Revelation, it tells you that Gog and Magog are coming against Jerusalem and her holy people. Jerusalem is America. And they will go up across the broad plains of the earth and surround God's people and the beloved city of Jerusalem on every side.
And Russia sent a huge naval patrol near Alaska, with at least 11 Chinese and Russian ships coming very close to Alaska but never entering U.S. waters. Reportedly, 4 U.S. destroyers and P-8 aircraft were dispatched to shadow their patrol, and it was reportedly a historic first, as this was the largest flotilla to ever approach the United States, which is why the U.S. described this as highly provocative. Follow to stay in the loop.
Now, we have Russian warships armed with hypersonic nuclear missiles parked just off the east coast of the United States. I repeat, now, we have Russian warships armed with hypersonic nuclear missiles parked just off the east coast of the United States. I repeat, Russian warship armed with hypersonic nuclear missiles, just like Medvedev threatened 2 weeks ago, apparently now is a reality, according to my sources, which I will disavow towards the end of the video. I give full credit where credit is due, and there's a YouTube channel who disseminated this information first, and I plan on giving them full credit for doing so in just a minute. They also talked about how there was a Russian warship that's been just off the Hawaiian coast, 24 miles, in fact, in accordance with international law. You have to be 22 miles away from any nation's coastline if you're a military ship, and that is, in fact, mainstream news. So Russian intelligence is collecting some sort of information or doing some sort of recon mission out there. We also have this data point. Russia is now engaged in a real war with the West, according to the foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov. Up until this point, it's been considered a hybrid war. A hybrid war is called fifth generation warfare. In fifth generation warfare, this is a way for nuclear powers to fight with one another without it going to the strategic level. Because once two nuclear powers engage in a conventional war, a direct war that's not a proxy war with one another, the risk of it escalating to the nuclear level is high. That's when we're talking DEFCON 2, DEFCON 1 stuff. Up until this point, it's been cyber attacks, it's been a culture war, it's been a media war, it's been maybe some attacks on the grid and critical infrastructure, but it's about to get hot. The Russians are now saying, their foreign minister, one of the highest people in their government and the second in command, Dmitry Medvedev, or the second arguably of influence in the country, Medvedev, is saying that this is now a real war with the Russians. And War News 24/7, who are very accurate in their predictions, has come out and said that intensive war preparations are taking place in the capital of Russia, as we've talked about for the last few days, setting up all the anti-aircraft batteries on top of Moscow. People have no idea how big this is, and I don't blame you, because if you go outside right now, if you turn on the TV, you are not going to hear about any of this, and that's the scary part.
So during the first eclipse, Trump was in office in 2017, and he tweeted this picture the other day, which I found very interesting, the best eclipse ever. I'm going to tell you how I received it. Trump was in office for the first one on 2017, and Obama will be in office for the second one. Like I explained in past videos, Obama would be the last pharaoh in America. But before that, Kamala would take over Biden's seat, and she would be bringing in Obama, and he'll eventually take over. She would be the one empowering the rise of the divine feminine, the Jezebel spirit.
What advice would you give a young lady wanting to become President of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law or Constitution. And once that barrier is broken, from then on, men better be careful.
Say Joe Biden is really just Barack Obama's third term in the White House. Well, that may be more true than we had previously known, right?
Today, as you all saw just an hour or so ago, President Obama announced that, President Biden. Whoa!
A little bird told me that you said you might be resigning the job this year. Say it isn't so. Is it true?
I don't know when I'm leaving. This is an honor and a privilege, and I love working for President Biden every single